So BTC's just pinged a little 382 fib for us. Was that the bottom of the move? We've had a lot of volatility here. I believe Jay Powell's been talking and things have been a little bit of up, a little bit of down, but also big things happening here with Solana. We can't ignore the current Sol situation. We've seen how this thing has been holding so well through all of these dips. Every time we've got a buy, every time we've got a pullback, we've had buys on Sol that have really held very nicely. So we're tackling Solana today. I've got a couple of Sol ecosystem plays like Jupiter. Let's not forget, they got a 30% supply cut coming this month potentially. So big things happening there. Then we've got a couple of other Sol tokens. I'm going to update on this 𝗬𝗬𝗟𝗑 trade that we longed earlier today. And we're going to fill in a couple of other things. So we've got so much to talk about here. Let's get right into this. And as usual, if you are enjoying the choppy conditions, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit that bell, and make sure you keep Ray happy. He's got his bear hoodie on tonight. He's not looking happy. He's looking very bleak with the current situation. Now, I'll tell you why. It's got to do with this fucking thing at the top here. Celestia, 12.65% up again. And I'm not in this position. I'm so upset with this current Celestia situation. At one point, we are going to get it. But what we did catch today was that Tower long, 13%, absolute banger. And I've actually closed that thing now and flipped short, but it's a sneaky little short because I'm just looking for a small pullback. I'm pretty bullish on Tower at the moment, and I see Bonk is in the news again here on the right-hand side, and it has just flipped whiff as well. So we're going to take a look at Bonk. It does form part of the Solana ecosystem, so a good one to take a look at. Now let's see what have they got in store for us today, and what have they given us. So a little bit of up, a little bit of down, as you might have noticed today, and pretty volatile. This is the 15 minutes on BTC that I'm watching, and pretty difficult trading conditions if you are trying to hold your trades for a little bit too long. And right now we have seen very short, very quick trades, quick in, taking profits early seems to be the order of the day at the moment. And BTC, hasn't let us down. Look at this move up here today. Little rejection at the previous high. Where did we see this high? This was on the 8th on Monday, yesterday. And that was the high. So now we've double topped that little high. So things are looking a little bit bearish here at 58,130. So watching this region closely now. And you can see our first line of support has been tapped a couple of times now today, 56,900. So we're going to be watching this closely. If we start losing that, I suspect some of these alts are going to feel a little bit more of a burn here today, and they're going to start melting lower. And remember, BTC is loving the 786 pullback at the moment. So we got to get the 786 fib out. So right now, 56,900, eyes on this. You can see we are dancing in this area. This would be an ideal situation here for me. If we do dip lower, 56,100, this is very clear. It's the 618. We've got tons of horizontal here as well, so we could expect some kind of scalper reaction here. There could be a little scalper long off that region, and then let's get out our 786. I mean, this thing has been a feature on Bitcoin the last couple of pullbacks, so why not bang this thing out again and just take a look here. 55,550 is a nice little scalper zone as well. So remember, if we feel absolute bearishness now in the next few hours and BTC is falling over, we've had 786s pinged twice in a row now. Is this going to be the third time? Are we going to get another bounce there? So these are 3 scalper zones here for you guys to watch if you want to try and grab some kind of BTC bounce on any weakness. So, okay, so far, a little bit of bounce action. I don't have any BTC trades open at the moment. I did miss the boat there on that current volatility, but I am still sitting in a Solana long. I've been growing this position, and I see Sol. If you look at my screen here on Prime XBT, Sol has actually lost this trend. So looking a little bit bearish here on the short time frame at the moment. I'm obviously banking on this thing holding that 382 pullback. So I'm going to give you a detailed Sol setup on the 3-day as well as the current time frame that I'm watching. So stick around. I'm going to show you exactly how I'm planning that. And then I have a head short in play here on AVAX. So after we had that little pump there from Joe Powell, we saw little reversal candles coming up everywhere. So I just jumped into a little AVAX head short there. That should carry the account a little bit lower. And then let's just see what's going on. So fear and greed is now at 27. And you can follow me on Twitter here today. I posted a new fear and greed index here at the Lord of Entry, not at the Lord of Index, and 27. So the market is extremely fearful at the moment. No real changes from yesterday as well. I see DJ David is in the chats as well. Dave, jump in the back here if you want. and come and join us. And then we were talking a lot about this 200-day MA that BTC has lost. And, the last time we saw that, we had chop for 63 days in the market. And I'm seeing on Twitter, a lot of the stuff is now starting to come out with guys predicting these kind of chops and the type of pain. And Joel is just giving us a comment here. He's saying repeating 2023's Q3 behavior would drive the entirety of crypto Twitter insane. Okay. And it will. I mean, if we get that type of chop like we had previously under that 200-day MA, we could expect this type of move. We're going to have little small trades all over the place. We're going to be getting excited. Then we're going to be getting bearish. Then we're going to be pumping again. It's going to be absolute misery. But carry on watching the show, because I will just trade you guys in and out of the shit all day long. So I'll be here regardless of the chop. I'll be here every day for you guys regardless. And we're still going to be playing this bullhorn all day long. And occasionally, if we're feeling childish, we'll play the cat as well. And so that hasn't changed. And then I see Ben Cowan is also dropping some, he's always a nice guy to look at. If you want a bearish perspective of things, if you're getting a little bit too euphoric, you just need to follow Ben Cowan there on Twitter. And he's also giving us the chop scenario. Yeah, he's saying many who discounted the idea of a summer lull for BTC are now posting nonstop about the German government selling. Haven't I been dealing with this nonstop over the last couple of weeks? And he says summer seasonality is typically not that great for BTC. Okay, so he's basically called it, as bearish as it sounded at the time. And now everyone's blaming it on the Germans again. And a little bit of a mustache action. Now, this guy, it does seem to be a perma bull. So whenever I pull out one of his tweets, they're definitely bullish biased. Yeah, this guy. And he's basically saying altcoins are exactly where they were in 2020. Okay, so he's looking for some kind of pumpage off this level. And if we look at the current altcoin situation, okay, we can't deny a lot of these alts. And I'm going to show you IMX today as well. They're sitting on major areas here. These are the types of areas where you generally get some kind of relief rally, even if we are going to get sent to hell later on. These are the type of zones that we are floating around, and that's why we've been so interested in these areas lately as potential bounce zones. So he's not potentially wrong. We could get a nice little move here out of these alts in spite of what BTC is doing. But what I don't like today is the one-day liquidation map. Now, everyone has gone max long again. You can see the longs are completely outweighing the shorts at the moment, and a little bit concerning because our little cluster goes all the way down to 54,700, give or take. If the market makers really want to be quite mean to us, 54,700 looks interesting. Then I have a little gap here at about 56,200, 56,300. Let's just see how that ties in to the BTC chart. That sort of slap bang at these levels from earlier today. So that was earlier this morning. So let's mark this level here. This is a potential zone that they might want to come visit if we just use that liquidation map as a guide. So add one more level here to your charts. And I see, Ray, we're getting a little bounce here off this 382. So add this next level, 56,257. So this little cluster in general then could be a nice little target for us if they are going to come and send this a bit lower and just take out some of these late longers here. 56,100 to 56,250 is a potential zone that we can be watching. Okay, and I see Zweleth's here in the chats. In Dylan we trust. And who else is here? Before we get into most of the juice, I see Evo is here, and he's saying sold to what? Sold to what, man? And guys, we're gonna go. Where do you want me to send Sol? Shall we send Sol to 400? And that sounds pretty reasonable in some kind of bull market. And he's saying Sol wants to go to 10K. That is a little bit of a big move there. And Nathan's talking about quick profits here. And he's calling Sol at about 200. I think that's pretty reasonable as well. But guys, there's a lot going on here with Sol. And, we talk about it quite regularly, but sometimes we really need to dive in and just look at the actual situation here. So we're going to get into Sol shortly. I just wanted to tackle this BTC on the daily again. And, my bias here in general has to be bearish based on the information we have in front of us. Number one, we've got BTC under the 200-day moving average. And the last time we lost that region, we chopped for 63 days. Okay. Now we are under this region. At the moment, we are on day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, are we in for another 57 days here of chop under this 200-day MA? That's something notable. The other thing is we are in a very clear downtrend here on BTC. So until we start breaking this downtrend again, once again, we can't be that bullish. And we have to look lower down as well. So on the daily, 51,400, that is still an area of interest for me. As much as we don't want to go there, we have to mark this level. If these guys are going to come and start rinsing us, 51,400 is an area of interest for me. But then again, the bullish sign that we have, and we've covered this a couple of days in a row here, we do have bullish divergence. You can see the price is trending lower here on the daily, and the oscillator is just starting to trend a little bit higher at the moment. And that tells us, you know, we could get some kind of short-term move. But what does that look like? And for me, that could be anything up to about 59,800. So look out for that. It could easily be a little fake out through that 200-day MA, and then they come and send us a little bit lower down. So remember, if you are trading altcoins, and you know, I'm trying to be super disciplined at the moment. I'm trying to close trades as soon as possible, and where possible, I'm hedging. I'm opening a couple of shorts, those type of things, just to carry us through the current choppy situation. Remember, easy mode does come back. And easy mode is a fun mode. For those of you that have arrived in crypto and basically walked into this absolute trading shitstorm, and I mean, you can be forgiven for feeling that this is incredibly difficult. But remember, crypto has an easy mode. When retail comes in and all the cards fall into place and everything just starts pumping, and you still start opening positions and they just start ripping. The Asians rip it, then the next morning the US rips it, the Europeans rip it, and it just keeps going. You go 7-10 days in a row. Things get very exciting, and we definitely call that easy mode. So hang around, okay? Your job here is to survive. And when easy mode comes, you're going to be a very experienced trader, and you're going to know exactly how to deal with it and exactly how to start printing money. And one of the things I'm watching here is dominance again on the 12-hour. And just notable today, it's floating around on some horizontal support here. So 54.6 is clearly support here on dominance. And we are in a dominance downtrend. So what does this mean for me? This means we could be favoring altcoins. So if we get a little rejection here, that should favor our altcoins on that move lower down on dominance. And if we start breaking this trend, well, we better watch Bitcoin closely. If Bitcoin's pumping, this is not going to be an issue. But if Bitcoin is dumping and we start breaking this trend on dominance, look out. Okay, these altcoins are going to start feeling a little bit of pain. You're going to get slapped around a little bit there on these alts. So keep your dominance chart very close to you while you guys are trading. And then another big one here today, Ethereum. Okay, so ETH pumped to the 200-day MA. That's a TP zone. So for anyone that was long of these lower regions, 200-day MA reaction zone. That is where you're looking to take profit. That's a major reaction point. And I'm out of that ETH long at the moment. So 200-day MA is now what we are watching and what we are waiting for. So when we do break this 200-day MA, and I'm saying when we do, now it might be in 56 days time, but we can still have this conversation. And when we do break this 200-day MA, I do think these alts are going to get that little run that we are looking for off these major supports. So ideally, if ETH starts pushing here, very friendly towards the altcoins, we're going to see a little bit of renewed interest in some of these alts. But right now, let's crack 3,100. Big resistance here for us now on ETH. And you can see we've tackled this one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row. Rejections 5 days in a row. And, once it breaks, we can start longing that with support there. We can use that area as a support base, and it's going to be a very easy invalidation for us. But until that is broken, we need to be a little bit cautious here on ETH and some of these altcoins in general. And then lower down on ETH, if we just zoom out a little bit, just to give you the bigger picture here as to what we are looking at. For those that have missed this chart over the last couple of days, I don't actually want to send you to 2,150, but we need to have this on our charts. We need to understand this is a possibility, especially if BTC is going to start dropping lower. But for now, for the bulls, what you're watching now, 2,850. Okay, so 2,850, that is unchanged at the moment for ETH, and resistance 3,100. So that is the game plan there for ETH traders, but a very slow mover. It's not the most exciting trade in history. Now, let's get into Solana things and, the actual reason why we are here today. So Marty Party just reminds us that 21 shares, they filed their 19B4. Okay, some admin getting done here for the SOL ETF. Now, everyone knows it's going to take a hell of a long time for the SOL ETF to come right. But we know that once these guys start doing these types of things, it sort of starts looking inevitable that at some point this is going to happen. So we just keep an eye on this stuff. But again, we're going to deal with the ETF stuff when it's actually happening, 6 months, a year, or whenever they're actually going to get their ducks in a row. But we have seen lately on Twitter, things are, the guys are talking about it again. And cold-blooded Shiller here says, SOL just continues to look very good Okay, significant show of strength the other day and trying to get that immediate engulf against yesterday's red candle. Week up, set up very strongly, he says. Okay, and we've got another guy, Philly B, is telling us Sol is on a cycle copy paste so far. So this is what caught my attention earlier today. If you look at what he's done here, and he's repeated the cycle from 2021. So if you take a look on the left-hand side here, we can see Sol pumped up, consolidated a little bit, then had a nice big push. And he's now used this fractal on the right-hand side. And you can see we are in this consolidation phase now on Solana. And if we actually put like for like on these two things, we are looking at a push here on Solana. This fractal, obviously, it's a little bit too bullish for my liking. I mean, this fractal sending us to $700, $800. But I mean, I'd be quite happy at around 300 if we got that type of move out of Sol. And then we picked it up again from Ali Charts also, dropping the same things, but now he's giving us the RSI on the daily, also looking at like a little bit of a double bottom here, and that this thing potentially wants to send higher. And I think this is relative or relevant to a lot of other altcoins as well. But we know Sol is a big player here, and when the market recovers, it's always one of my go-to plays here is to jump in some Sol positions and things. We know the market loves Sol. We know they love to pump a little bit of Sol off a good zone. So Sol is constantly on my watch list. If you guys have been watching me long enough, you'll know I talk about this thing non-stop, almost as much as my ETH bronus that I cover Sol. So what I wanted to give you guys for the spot traders, number one, and this is the 3-day chart on Solana, and you can see this thing looks pretty healthy at the moment on the 3-day, and I'm quite liking that it's starting to break the 200-day MA and holding at the moment. So on smaller time frames, it's holding this 200-day moving average, but ideally on the 3-day, we'd like to see a close above that region. So that's a 137.8 that I'm watching on the 3-day. But if you are a spot trader and things like that, you can see there's a very nice picture forming here on Solana. You've got massive support at 120 to 118. That's a nice big area there. That's a no worry zone. Okay, if we're pushing into that area, you know, nothing to worry about until obviously we start losing that level. So I would say a cut zone for spot traders is going to be 120 to 118 if we lose that region. But right now, things definitely looking more interesting with Sol. And the minute there's a slight spark in the market here, we're going to see a little pop on Sol. And I'm going to look for that rejection here at that 50-day moving average at 152. So that would be our sort of initial target. Then we're going to play that retest, and then there's going to be a nice little setup here brewing on Solana. So watching this one closely, you can see I'm in a Sol long, and if that does turn over, I'm going to get stopped at entry there, but I'm going to be constantly looking for a Sol entry. And when we start breaking that trend there, we're going to get quite aggressive here and try and send Sol a little bit harder, a little bit higher. And I see Ryan's talking about a possible death cross. Look, it's possible. Okay, a death cross is when the 50-day, that red line you see on my chart, crosses over the 200-day MA. That's the blue line you see on my chart. So if that starts dipping obviously below, then that would be a death cross forming. But what we often see is as about a death cross, when a death cross is about to form, we often see a pump into that type of situation. So just something to watch there in the meantime. But yeah, I mean, we let it play out. Let the time do its thing. And then as far as Sol is concerned, for the guys trading smaller time frames like me, for example, on that prime XBT chart, you can see. So this is my current game plan. So you can see I'm long on Sol at the moment, and we've actually lost this little rising trend here. So you can see this trend here. We actually lost this one now earlier today. So looking a little bit bearish, but what am I watching for Sol? So you can see my entry here is 135.8 that I'm watching currently. And that is nicely settled underneath the 200-day moving average and the 382 fib as well as horizontal. So that is why I haven't been in a rush to try and close that Sol trade, because I want to test this area. I want to see this region get held here and then potentially kick off there. Okay, so as long as things aren't too bad for Solana, 137 is where I'm probably going to be adding to this position here, looking for a little bit more on Sol. So right now you can see I've slowly been growing that position over the last couple of days, and hopefully now that is going to hold for me. I'm backing the 200-day MA to hold here. I'm backing the 382 fib. I'm backing these horizontals. Now, if that thing falls over and I get stopped up, well, my next big zone that I'm going to be watching very closely on Sol is 134. And you can see why. We've got a nice little wick here. We've got a 618, and we've got a trend in place. So if they are going to sweat us a little bit lower now in the coming days, 133.9, or we'll call it 134, is going to be the next area where I'm going to try and tackle another Sol long here. and really try and take advantage of that move. So there's the game plan that I have for Sol. And then short-term targets, I was speaking about that 50-day moving average, and you can see this thing is bang on with the 100-day MA as well. So we know this is going to be a massive resistance zone for us. So 152 to 154, if we do push higher here, looking for that rejection, okay, we'll pull out our fibs and we'll do all these types of things when the time is right. And we're going to look for some kind of bounce off that type of region, I would expect, if it does blow through to that zone. But that is my current game plan. Let's see, okay, if this thing is going to work out. And I do have my zone lower down, obviously. Don't want to lose this main trend here. That's going to get ugly for us. And then we are tracking back to the spot buyer zone. That's 120 to 180. Paul is giving us some arrows and rockets there on injective. Are we moving on injective? Because I do have an injective chart here, and hopefully we're going to get some kind of move. So we dropped an injective trade earlier today in the Sniper Club, and we'll catch up now. We'll see if this thing is going to be doing anything. There's a potential long brewing there on injective. But let's get what's at enough and I says there's no handbag money in this market. Guys, if you're taking profits, okay, I made handbag money today, okay, trading Tower. Okay, I'm going to show you that set. I'm going to show you that trade. And we got that handbag money, and you got to just be disciplined. Take profits quickly, whenever you get a nice little move. And my wife's going to be very satisfied with the handbag money. And let's get into some other Sol ecosystem plays. A big one for me always, Radium. We got to look at this one. And look how this thing is holding this 200-day moving average. Now, remember, spot traders, this is your ideal situation here. You've got a potentially bullish-looking Solana at the moment, and you've got a relatively quiet Radium. And look how this thing is holding on the 3-day. I wanted to give you guys like-for-like situations here. And Radium on the 3-day has got huge support here at 1.47, 1.48, and we've got cover on the 200-day MA, 1.54. So this could be quite a nice little Sol play on Sol strength. Now, remember, we can jump into the Sol memes and things, which as obviously we will, but there's a couple of other strong plays, and Radium has to be next on my list here as a potential big mover. You can see the types of candles we get out of Radium when Sol turns bullish. And you can see that last move we had, there was 140% pump on Radium. When was that? That was in March when we had that nice little run. And I would expect something similar. So bullish Sol, we're going to see Radium really start cooking. So if you are a spot trader here, you're watching your key supports, and that is 1.45 to 1.47. You've got your 200-day MA. I'm loving that it's trying to break this 50-day moving average as well. So things could be teeing up here in the short term here on Radium. So interim support, and this is for the degens, 1.69. Okay, watch 1.68, 1.69. Spot traders, you know what to do. Okay, you've got your big support band lower down. And remember, when this thing starts popping, this trend, this thing is going to start flying. And Joy King says, your afternoon trade of Tower was huge. And look, sometimes we get lucky. Okay, so today, we had two options today. I was going to bang out a Tower trade or injective trade on Sniper Club. And I put the Tower trade in my section, in my chart section, and I banged out the injective signal. And, as luck would have it, Tower absolutely started flying. I did call that on Sheldon's show earlier today. So we're going to cover that one. But before we get there, let's talk about Jupiter. So we mentioned this earlier in the week, and we spoke about it again on Sniper Club as well for the guys there. There's a 30% token burn coming on Jupiter. Okay, now this is a big exchange. It's a big DEX on the Sol ecosystem, and it's turning bullish. Okay, it's been one of the best performers in the last couple of days, and starting to take off from some massive support regions here, 0.733. So looking good here, Jupiter, and you can see this is teeing up quite nicely with Radium. It's teeing up quite nicely with Sol, pushing into a trend. You can see all these guys are teeing up into a trend at the moment. So what happens at a trend? Well, you either reject, okay, or we start ripping and everyone starts piling in and calling this thing a trend break. So we are pushing into an interesting zone here. We could have something brewing. I'm long Jupe from a little bit lower down, but if you are looking for a nice setup here, your big support you want to be watching, 0.73. Okay, watch that area, 0.73, and then we can start dialing in. We'll give the DGen something to work with here. And look at that candle. Look how they sold this thing off. Just another note here on these rejection zones. Look at that 100-day MA giving something there. So dupe traders, what you can do is you can bang out a trend here on the 4-hour. You can see we've broken trend here at the moment on dupe, and potentially some bullish things happening there. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut these fibs here. We're going to look at DGen setup. So we're going to take a fib from these lows to the highs. And what we want to identify here is leverage trader, scalper zones, leverage trader, support zones. Okay, spot traders, you know the drill. You know your big supports that you can be watching. And scalper traders, 382 retest here, tied in with horizontals, tied in with trend, 0.74. Okay, that's a little bit of a degen play for you, but look for this type of entry here. If we do get a little weakness here, there could be a little entry there for you on dupe, and then your target is just going to be, for this scalper move, your target's going to be that 50-day MA, 0.945. So watch that one closely. Nice little short-term target there for the traders. And remember, you know, we don't have to get married to these positions if you're trading leverage. That could be a 25% move on dupe. So quite like that. I see Angry Pistons as dupe is about to send it. Look, I'm backing this thing for a move. You know, let's see. Bullish Sol, bullish dupe. I mean, I think it could play. They're cutting 30% of the supply, and anything can happen after that. Remember, if you're burning supply, you're taking them off the market. They're no longer available to sell. So that often has a positive effect on the price. But let's see if it's actually going to play out. So traders, scalper zones, 0.74. You can watch that zone there. Look for some kind of bounce in that area, and then bonk, flip, whiff. Okay, I mean, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? You know, a bit of meme wars going on here. And they flipped it in market cap. And Bonk, one of the best performers here. So Bonk is now 1.8 billion. Okay, WIF is now 1.7. Do you remember when WIF was sitting at something like 4 billion? And look, I have no doubt it will come back. If we have a run like we had in March, we should see all of these guys performing. But I thought, let's talk about Bonk here, because, you know, it's the flavor of the day here. And guys, Paul says, guys, girls, Dylan deserves some likes. Come on, guys, if you're enjoying the content, okay, even if you hate the content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. Hopefully you're enjoying the content. I mean, Ray Boy special hat today. Looks like the Grim Reaper. Okay, so here's Bonk at the moment. So if you were trading Bonk from lower down, this is just a nice little interesting thing here with moving averages. So look what's going on here with Bonk. We've got the 200-day MA, which is a big player for these altcoins. Look at that little support they're giving us there at 2126. And then we've got rejections at the 50-day MA, another big player for these altcoins. That's why all you need, 50-day MA, 200-day MA. And those are your guys. So Bonk right now pushing into the 50-day MA. This is big resistance here for you guys. So this is 2735. So watch out this region here. But the exciting thing about Bonk is there could be multiple trades coming here on Bonk, especially if Sol starts turning bullish. So the first thing you want to do is just start breaking these type of resistance bands. So what we're going to look at here, we're just going to look at this trend, and you can see we've broken this trend. And typically what happens when you get a trend break, you get that rejection off a horizontal or a big resistance band, for example, this 50-day MA, and then you get a couple of options here. Number one, you get some kind of pullback, and that often falls onto a 382 or a 618, where you can then try and grab your next long. And or alternatively, they pop this thing very hard, and this thing shoots up to a nice big horizontal band. So look out for something along these lines, like a big burst here on Bonk. And then that retest for me is often going to be for buyers. That is often your best trade. Okay, that second retest there that you're going to get after that pop. So if you are looking at a Bonk position, longs for me, they're either going to be higher up or they're going to be lower down. Okay, so I'm going to give you some areas that you can look for. If Bonk starts rejecting, first thing you want to do is highlight a 382 area. That's normally a bullish zone. If the token's going to stay bullish, it's generally going to react on a 382. So trade option number one for Bonk, 2350. Okay, so look for that. If it rejects here, 2350, keep your eyes on Bitcoin naturally. You want Bitcoin to be behaving, 2350. Look for that little move there on Bonk. Okay, alternatively, if they pop this 50-day MA, you know what to do. You're going to be longing on the return to the 50-day MA. Okay, so that is going to be 2735. So it's going to look something like this. Option one, okay, and you can get a relatively tight stop in here. You'll probably get about a 2 to 3% stop in that region, so that'll be your risk. And so that is option number one there. Reject here, pull back onto that zone. Option number two, let it pop that area first. The retest of that 50-day MA, you're going to bang your stop under the 50-day moving average and just under that horizontal. So you're going to work it around. You're going to try and get about a 2.5% stop there on that situation, and then you're going to start riding that thing higher. And you just want to target some big horizontal areas here and just notable zones. So the first one for you for Bonk, 359. Okay, there's an area there, 359. That's TP zone number 1. And then if you go and take out these highs, that would be, obviously, ideally, that would be lovely. 4291. Okay, and remember, as soon as these tokens start moving, remember, this market is super choppy. Okay, so you're watching your little close target zones, you're watching TP zones, and you're looking to raise your stops as quickly as possible. So when this thing starts moving, ideally, if you get a nice breakout candle on the 1 hour or something along those lines, you want to bring that stop up just under that 1 hour candle there. You don't want to get yourself in a mix here with this current choppy market at the moment. I see MC talking about Notcoin. And I've got an entry set up for you on Notcoin as well. I've got that one prepped and ready for you guys. Okay, another one in the Sol ecosystem, Render. And that is still looking super bearish for me on the bigger picture. This is Render on the daily, and you can see we've lost this major trend. Okay, so again, doesn't mean we can't get a pump on Render in the short term. Okay, but what it tells us is we can't get too euphoric until we start breaking through major areas again. So I just want to highlight this region for you guys. So if Render does start pushing up, you've got a big situation going on here at 7.1. 7.1 is a huge area here. We've got horizontals, and we've got this major trend that's been in play since November 23, okay, which we have now lost. Okay, so typically in a situation like this, what do you get? You get some kind of bullish pump, and then you look for those type of rejections, and then they send it a little bit lower. So there is a potential short opportunity coming here on Render, and if it's not going to be at these horizontals at 7.1, it's more than likely going to be at the 200-day MA and horizontal. So there are two things at play here. Number one, you've got 2 TPs if Render does start pushing higher from here, and then you've got 2 bear zones here. You've got 2 potential short zones in play here for Render. So another big one for you, 7.7. Okay, that's another potential reaction zone, another potential bear zone on Render for you guys. So if we do move up from this area, what you can do right now, if you're watching this current situation, you can see our daily candle low. Okay, so if you're trading Render, your best support that you can play with today is going to be that daily low. So you're going to be looking at 6.22. Okay, that's for the degens out there. Okay, but what I'm trying to say here is look out. If this pushes up, you could be in for TP zone or potential shorts here for the bears. We know these bears are going to come out again, and they're going to come with I told you so if they do send this thing a little bit lower down. So looking for something along these lines on Render when it does eventually get there. And once we break back in that trend, we can turn bullish again. So these are your current situation. These are your current options on Render at the moment. So, 𝗏𝗏, that's one of Ray's favorites there from Morovsky. And I don't know, 𝗏𝗏 never does anything though, Ray. It's always just hangs around. It doesn't do anything too exciting, but when the time is right, we can deal with it. Oh, okay. Here's Tower at the moment. So I'm going to show you what's just gone down. And so we gave this trade earlier today. I dropped this in my section in Sniper Club, and then I jumped onto Sheldon's show earlier. He had internet issues, and they said he got bumped off his show. His stream was empty. His stream was blank. So they came to my office and said, can I quickly jump on Sheldon's show and just give a couple of setups? And I jumped on there, and Tower was just breaking this trend. And I showed that long that I was taking. Now, I TP'd Tower at the 786. And then I took a sneaky little short in this region. I'm probably going to get stopped out here now. So this was TP zone number 1, 265 on Tower here. So if you did catch this one, this is now a TP area that you want to pay attention to. But interestingly, since the show started, this thing has started turning bullish again. So here is my current situation. Let me show you what's going down. And you can see I closed that trade there on the right-hand side. You can see I closed $980 there. That's enough for a handbag. And then I jumped into that sneaky short. And you're going to see I'm probably going to get stopped out in the second year on Tower. So I wouldn't short this now. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so Tower is going to start turning a little bit more bullish here. I want to give you guys a little target that you can play with. And then I'm going to take you through this other trade that I'm sitting in here called Unfi. And right, so if we start pushing higher on Tower, we're looking at 330 as your potential target, and you can see why I like this region. It's the 50-day moving average. Okay, 330 is a nice little target here. What I would like to have seen here is a little pullback on Tower. I wanted to see a little bit of consolidation here because I don't like seeing these big candles pushing into these areas and without some kind of breather. So I jumped out of that trade, and ideally what I wanted to see, and I'm going to show you right now, I want to pull a fib from the low to the high. And you want to look at a couple of areas here. And sometimes when something is super bullish, you want to bang out that 236 fib as well. And then you want to tie in a couple of hot zones here. So I was looking for a little move back onto this 236 fib, 250. Alternatively, I was looking for a move back onto 240. So these were the areas that I was going to look to reload there on Tower. So what is going to happen now is let this thing play out. Okay, you've got your key supports here. 251, number one. Second support, 240. Both of these areas are reload areas for me. If this thing stays bullish, more than likely you get these bounces off this region here. Okay, so there you go. And the ultimate trader's curse. Okay, and I actually tell people a lot of the time, 90% of the time you go long. Okay, you take your profit and then you short that thing because you think you're so smart, and you get rinsed on that second trade. And it's just happened. Okay, I've just done what I actually shouldn't have done. I should have banked that profit and moved on. But anyway, you keep learning. We learn every single day. And here it goes. So watching 251, watching 240, ultimate target here, 332. If you've got a good entry on Tower now, you know your support levels, you know your exit zones here if this falls over. And yeah, good luck. I mean, we could have a nice little move here on this thing. Could have another 23% coming here for you guys. So watch that one. Could be a fun little trade. And then 𝗏𝗏 is something we jumped into on Sniper Club on Sunday. Now, I have no alpha on this thing other than at the time the chart was looking good on Sunday. So I've just been parking in this 𝗏𝗏 situation, and it's literally been bleeding up, bleeding down, doing all these types of things. But I thought, let me show you the chart anyway, and you guys can decide for yourself how you want to play it. But I have no edge here. I have no extra alpha on this thing at the moment. I couldn't even tell you what this thing does. But right now it's sitting on a 618 fib. Okay, it's sitting on a big level here, 3.811, and that is you know, it hasn't lost the level, and for that exact reason I just haven't exited the trade. I've just left it. And right now I've put a stop. I just want to show you where my stop is on this thing. It is sitting at, let's get this thing open here. There it is. It's sitting at 3.81. Okay, so I've basically said if this thing is going to lose the 4-hour candle low, the previous 4-hour candle low at 3.81, I'm jumping out. If you want to, you can leave this thing a little bit deeper, 3.73. But for me, 3.81, I'm jumping out. Again, I have no, you know, I have no particular conviction on this trade. Like 𝗏𝗏, for example, I have a conviction on that trade. This one was in a good area. Now it's just fluffing around at the moment. So that is the game plan here. If you want to trade it, there is a potential move up, and it's going to have to rely on a very bullish Bitcoin. Again, no extra alpha on this thing. So you're looking for 4.9 and you're looking for 5.6 as potential targets here for 𝗏𝗏. Okay, and here's Toncoin at the moment. I thought let's look at Toncoin, let's look at Notcoin as well. Nice little pair, and you know, some action happening here. So Toncoin, nice little pullback on the 4-hour, and you can see we've got some trend pressure again. This is still the flavor of the month. Everybody's still talking about Toncoin. Remember when everyone was talking about Ondo and nothing went wrong with Ondo? Now we've seen Ondo losing a major trend, starting to get a little bit tired. Render losing a major trend, trying to get a little bit tired. You know, there's less vibe around it. Remember Render, we had Apple news, we had Nvidia news, we had all these AI trades, and now they're getting tired again. So right now, everyone, or the bees, are all over Ton. Okay, and remember at some point this thing does turn over and they lose a bit of interest. But right now, for me, Ton, if you're looking for a position here, you need to break trend. You got a lot of work to do here on Ton. So right now this thing is sitting at a resistance band, so look out here. No longs right now in this current situation. And then a little bit lower down, what I would suggest here, 6.88. Watch that. Okay, 6.88, nice little potential double bottom play there for you guys. 618, always nice and bullish here on these altcoins. So 6.88. We won't go lower than that. Okay. I mean, Ton might go lower than that, but look out. If you get weakness onto that area, there's a possible bounce there on Ton for you. And here comes Not. So yeah, is Not going to come back and give me a little entry that I'm looking for? So we'll have to wait and see. So Not, I mean, it's been a big performer here lately and a big narrative at the moment, but I can't stop looking at this area, 0.0143. It's a nice 50-day MA. It's a 382 fib, looking just so juicy and looking like, you know, if we have a little bit of patience, we might get this little visit here on Notcoin. So ideally for me, there's a trade if it's dipping into this area, 0.01436. And again, look, I mean, this thing could be breaking on 15-minute candles and things like that. But right now, let's look at the 15 minutes. Let's go degen here. Let's see what we got. Okay, so yeah, it's not great to work with this current situation. Let's see if we got some kind of trendage here for you guys. Yeah, I'm not loving this. Okay, I can't go into this with conviction, but you can see here's a breakout candle right now. So what I was saying earlier, if you're trading breakout candles and things like that, what you can do is when you see a nice big candle like that, you can just bang a stop under that breakout candle there and then see how it goes. But for me, high conviction trade 0.014 on Notcoin. So I would rather kick back and wait for that one, let that one play out a little bit. Let's see how it goes. Remember, if you miss a trade, and, it doesn't hit your good area, remember, there's going to be another one that hits your zone or hits your area. You don't have to get FOMO and start breaking your system and all those things. Rather stick to your trading plan, stick to your system. And, if it doesn't hit your zone, it doesn't hit your zone. So let's see. If not starts firing here, potential target 0.02. Potential support 0.016 that you can watch now, and then lower down my trade zone's got to be this region here, 0.0143, give or take, in that region. So that is what I would look for there on what's his face? Notcoin. And here's Popcat. Okay, nice little scalp earlier today on Popcat. I was dropping this chart in Sniper Club in the chats there. I was just hanging out in the chats today a little bit at Sniper Club, and I dropped this little Popcat play, and we were looking for this 382. So we got a little pullback here onto this 382 fib. Look, straight little retest here, typical little retest on the 382 and trend, little horizontal, just a little dip in that zone. They just come and they dip their toes in there, and often gives you that buy. But you got to be fast. It's fastest fingers first when these things are looking super bullish. And now this thing's absolutely running. So, sure, I would be very cautious here now. Okay, so now we've missed our big zone. If you're looking for a potential situation here, look out. Resistance. Okay, resistance on Popcat. Where can this thing go? If it does start churning higher, what you're going to look for here, and this is for the degens again. Okay, you're going to look for these type of reactions in these type of areas. Okay, so you can see how choppy this thing is. Look at this, up, down, up, down. Okay, so if we get this pop, okay, there's a potential entry coming here for you guys in that region. That's a possible trade there. So look out for that. So let it do its thing here and let it reject. Okay, so watch out, 0.5471. Look for a rejection somewhere in that area. That pullback there could give you then your equivalent of that 382 that we got earlier today. So then you're going to be looking for something like that. You're going to drag this thing higher up until you get your high. So you got to find your high. You got to wait for that thing to hit its high, and then you can look at your 236, or you can look at your 382 pullback on this thing if it's going to remain bullish. So a little bit of a game plan there for Popcat. But remember, these meme coins are brutal. Okay, if you're jumping into tops of pumping candles, remember, the reversal's not fun. Okay, the ride up is great, but when they turn that thing over, it's not pleasant. Okay, it's not a great story to tell your wife that you jumped into the top of Popcat with the kids' college money. So just be a little bit careful there. Okay, another one I've got for you. Oh, here's Injective. Finally, Injective. Okay, so here's Injective, and I dropped this trade in Sniper Club earlier today, and the option was, do I give them 𝗏𝗏 or do I give them Injective? And I thought, well, let me just give them Injective. And obviously 𝗏𝗏 pumped fucking whatever, 20%. But here we go. Here's Injective now. So entries are locked and loaded. And now I'm looking to add to my position. So let's see how this is going to play out. I want to see a little bit more of a push here on Injective. And we just want to extend this thing a little bit higher here. And then we're going to look for a little retest back into the zone. But the entry for me was 2.22 down to 19.4 as your potential zone here for Injective. And then I put out very small, very short targets here for you guys. And the first one was 22.2, so a little move where you want to just raise your stop. Next one was 23.9, and then the upside, the big one, the big dog, 31. Okay, that's where you're going to leave the last bit in the tank there for the rest. And I see Ivan says, I missed the best entry for Injective, but on the edge. Look, we were close. Okay, you were close there. And I do have my Injective trade. I'm trading this one on 𝗿𝗏𝗡𝗏 at the moment. You can see I'm still long Rune here, and I've had to do a little bit of tap dancing with Rune. So I've gone up, down, up, down, up, down. That thing's chopping me around, and just sitting there waiting for something to happen there. And Injective, yeah, that is finally moving now. So when this thing pumps a little bit, I'm going to start adding to that position, try and grow that thing, and then just raise my stop a little bit as soon as possible, actually. And we'll see how that is going to play out. So You've seen me using a couple of trading exchanges today, and 𝗏𝗡𝗏, I've been going on about this 𝗏𝗏𝗏 for quite a while, and they launched their token. And those of you that were trading on 𝗏𝗏𝗏 with me now over the last couple of weeks, you would have noticed you getting airdropped your 𝗏𝗏𝗏 token. Now, these guys have launched their token. This is going to be a massive exchange. This is like going to be the latest 𝗃𝗃𝐶. It's going to be the latest big type of exchange out there. And 𝗏𝗏𝗏 are now still offering you a 20% sign-up bonus. They've brought that back for you guys, and there's great deals at the moment on 𝗏𝗏𝗏. So having a good time here trading 𝗏𝗏𝗏 at the moment. There is a link in the description for all these exchanges I'm using. That other one you saw that I was using is 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Okay, also having a good time there on 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Go to the link in the description here on the show, and you can see the entire shopping list is here for you guys. Even Prime XBT's up there, 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is there, and don't forget, guys, if you want a piece of 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Club and you want to get involved, okay, come and hang out with the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Club. We do regular Zoom sessions there. We've got a massive team in there. And tonight they're actually doing a 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Zoom session. So we've got our own thread in the Discord for 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏s only. And we've got some top meme coin traders in there. They're doing a Zoom session tonight, showing you how to do it, how to buy it, what are the hot tokens, all these types of things. And then naturally, you have access to all my charts that I update every single day. The charts you see on the show, I update daily in the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Club. I'm in the chats. I give a market update, all these things, and never mind the amazing trading team and the traders that we have in the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Club. So if you want a piece of that, grab that link in the description, come and hang out with us and see how we go. Let's just see where we are with BTC here. And Ray, what's the current situation here? Are we long and strong here? What's going on? There's some pumpage.
Long and strong.
56,800. Look at that 382. Okay, again, something as simple as a 382 just delivering again for us. And let's see how we're looking here. Okay, Sol is back in action, and Sol seems to be climbing up. And my 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 head short here. Let's see where my stop is sitting at the moment. I banged it just above that little candle over there. Let's just see if this thing's going to load for me here. When you're ready. Okay, well, anyway, that 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 short is was at the top of that candle, that reversal candle that we got. There it is. Okay, there it is. So there's my stop on 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, 26.13. That's a head short that I've got in play now. If Sol runs, that's obviously going to carry me. And, let's go. Level by level on Sol. You've got the Sol set up, and you know the targets that we're looking for. I gave them to you guys. And let's see. If we start breaking these areas, maybe we can grow a little bit of size on these. And remember, just try and find a balance, guys, between taking profits early and head shorts, things like that, and just be aware, they're chopping us up all over the place, and these joyous moments seem to be very short-lived. So bank your profits, buy those handbags for the ladies, and we'll see you tomorrow. Later.